American Indian contributions. Electricity. The most extraordinary and amazing invention of pre-contact American Indians was producing electricity through chemical means. Electricity is the physical phenomenon that arises from the interaction of electrical charges. The Moshe, whose culture arose in what is now Peru in about 200 BC, invented the electrochemical production of electricity. They produced electricity by using water and chemicals that they found naturally occurring in their environment. The first step was to produce an acid solution to act as an acid bath. The next step was to produce an electric current. The Moshe accomplished this by dipping copper into the acid solution. Copper is unique in that it can act as both an anode, a positively charged electrode, and a cathode, a negatively charged electrode. Both are necessary to produce an electrical. When the copper was dipped into the acid solution, an electrical current was produced. The Moshe used the electricity only for electroplating. American Indian contributions. Electroplating. Electroplating is the process of depositing a thin coat of one metal on the surface of another by using an electrical current. It was one of many cold plating techniques used by the Moshe in South America to make items made of various metals appear as if they were actually gold. The Moshe lived on the northern coast of what is now Peru from 200 BC to AD 600. Expert metalworkers, the Moshe coaxed the power of electricity from chemicals to gild copper in alloys they had made of silver, copper, and gold. Electroplating requires a plating bath, a source of direct current, the object to be plated, and the metal that will serve as the plating. The positive terminal of the direct source is connected to the metal to be plated, the cathode, and the negative terminal is connected to the plating material, the anode. Positive charged metal ions from the plating metal migrate to the negatively charged cathode. American Indian contributions. Electroplating. To invent electroplating, the Moshe first had to develop a corrosive liquid in which to dissolve gold for the gilding process. This was accomplished by mixing water with niter, potassium nitrate, a nitrate salt, sodium chloride, and potash alum, a granular sulfur and oxygen compound. When combined, all of these chemicals, which are found in the natural environment, were able to produce a corrosive solution with a pH of 4, in other words, a strong acid. After this had occurred, the Moshe dissolved gold in the solution when they placed a copper object in it. When dissolved in an acid solution, gold produces positively charged ions which stay in the solution. The copper is negatively charged and will attract the positively charged gold ions. The copper acted as both a cathode and anode in order to cause the gold to bond more permanently. The Moshe, who also used this process for silver plating, preceded the Europeans in developing electrochemical plating by more than 1,000 years. Sir Humphrey Davy is credited with first isolating the alkali metals by electrolysis of fused salts. Yet American Indians, whom many Europeans of the time viewed as ignorant savages, not only had invented electricity hundreds of years before, but were putting it to practical use on a regular basis. The invention of electroplating required an enormous amount of intelligence. The Moshe had to have an understanding of science and in particular chemistry and the fundamentals of electricity and its properties. They had to experiment and organize all of the resulting data to create electricity through chemical means. This was monumental achievement of ancient American Indian chemists and metalworkers. This is a picture of the Moshe corn goddess from 200 to 600 BCE. American Indian contributions electroplating. What is it used for? Making metal objects look shiny and decorative, preventing rust and corrosion, making surfaces harder and more durable, improving electrical conductivity, especially in electronics, repairing or restoring worn parts, creating precise metal shapes, electroforming. Products that use electroplating today. Phones, gold-plated connectors, charging ports, circuit boards, computers and laptops, CPU pins, USB ports, motherboard contacts, tablets and smartwatches, televisions and monitors, game consoles and controllers, cameras and microphones, batteries, car electronics, sensors, control modules, connectors, appliances like microwaves, washing machines, and fridges, they all have internal connectors and switches. Basically, almost any device with circuit boards, connectors, or electrical contacts uses electroplating.